On a hill far away stood an old rugged cross, the emblem of suffering and shame.
So, the word of the Lord. It says, Paul will write in the next chapter, but just as we have been approved by God to be entrusted with the gospel, so we speak not as pleasing men, but God who examine our hearts. And then he writes, O Timothy, guard what has been entrusted you, avoiding worldly and empty chatter, and the opposing arguments of what is falsely called knowledge. Now, to put that in a different way, what's important here is, for the word of the Lord has sounded forth from you. Not some new age, get healthier, get wealthier, get thinner message. What they were preaching was the gospel, and that's why it spread. There are a lot of churches today where you can go in, some of the biggest churches in the United States of America, and you're not going to hear much of the gospel. What you're going to hear is how you can be a better person, how you can be more successful in life, how you can be. That's not the word of. This is the word of the Lord. Is the word of the cross. I'm glad we started with that song, the old rugged cross. And I hate to bother you, but Allison's going to take this call, because this is live and in color, here from Dryden, New York. So, you have to be careful, because what we're talking about, and where the power lies, is in the Word of God. We were talking to somebody today, saying, in a situation where somebody needs to deal with another person in correction, and you're saying, well, give them the Word of God. Give them the Word of God. And they're saying, well, it doesn't seem to have much effect. I don't care what it seems like. What it says in Isaiah 55, and this is the Word of God that He watches over to perform, is that His Word never goes forth without accomplishing His purpose. Absolutely. So you have to trust in the power of the Word of God, regardless of whether you see that instantaneous reaction to it or not. You have to trust that God's faithful to His Word, watches over His Word to perform, and no promise that He has promised has ever failed to come to pass. So understand that there is power in the Word, and this is what we have been entrusted with. And when you're entrusted with something, think of this verse that Jesus said, from whom has received much. My brain's not working. Much is required. Well, I don't know what you think you have that God has given you that's more important than His Word. Because His Word is the expression of His love. And His Word has power. Okay, kiddo? Mm-hmm. So now, if you've been entrusted with His gospel, and by the way, that doesn't mean you went to Bible school, you went to the seminary, or your job as a full-time pastor. Every Christian has been entrusted with the Word of God. Because the Word of God has been written on the tablets of your heart. And it says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So when Peter writes and says that all of us believers, every one of us, we're a royal priesthood, a chosen nation, a holy people, that we're called to proclaim the excellencies of Him who has called us out of darkness and into His marvelous light. You proclaim His excellencies with His Word. Because you can't think of anything better than His Word, I promise you that.
God's love above the heavens, God's love deeper than the sea.